So, find yourself into a seated position. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. So you can either sit on the floor or in a chair. So long as you're comfortable and your body is relaxed, your focus is on strengthening and lengthening your spine. So just a few moments. So, when you're ready, close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, just gently bring your gaze lower than eye level. You're looking down through the nose. Just bring that awareness now to the length of your spine. Sitting on the base of your sit bones, lengthening all the way up from the lower, mid, upper back. You can start to bring your head back, so the back of the neck and the head sit in alignment with your spine. So you're just straightening, lifting the crown of the head, dropping the shoulders from the ears, finding that length. Just be that awareness of the spine. Visualize each of the facets stacked upon each other. She creates space by lengthening, extending upwards, ironing out, creating that space. The shoulders relax. Just focus on that line all the way up the spine, from the tailbone all the way to the crown. And relax. Let your thoughts start to come and go. Do not attach yourself to your thoughts. Bringing our focus back inward. We create that focus, that greater awareness through now our breath. So I'd like you to start to focus now on your breathing, listening, aware, feeling, observing. Your mind may become interrupted. You might find it start to be pulled your attention to sound, other distractions. And that's okay, just bring yourself back to your breath. Remind yourself, breathe, length, depth, feel of the breath. And then when you're ready, start to lengthen the in-breath. Take an inhale and just release the exhale. Take that time now to lengthen the in-breath each time. To overflow into the next breath. Feeling the chest, the lungs, the rib cage now expanding. So all the way at the front of the chest, down to the side, and the lower points of the ribs expand. As you deepen your in-breath, eventually starting to feel that openness, expansion, as the breath moves into the chest, under the armpits, the side of the ribs, and eventually into the back of the rib cage. So you feel the entire lung space and ribs expand, as if opening the umbrella. Once you feel as if you can take a full in-breath, and it completely fulfills the space of your lungs, then start to focus your energy on the exhalation. In through the nose and out through the nose. allowing the breath slowly to release. So we're trying now to bring length to the in and the out breath. Feel that connection of the breath as you start to breathe a little deeper, a little fuller. Excellent. Should be feeling like we're settling in now with our breath. So once we have a good control of our breathing, we're going to start to unite the pelvic floor muscles. So recruiting the muscles at the base of the spine, between the legs and thighs. As we assist and lift through the belly, we're then going to start to expel the air out. So we inhale, everything expands, and the exhalation, I want you to squeeze, lift into the pelvic floor, push the air out. So it's quite a mechanism. Take your time, and it's a lot of concentration to coordinate this. Eventually, we're going to just start to engage the pelvic floor and hold it there. So we're going to start to squeeze the front and back passage. So as the muscles between the legs and thighs, slightly holding and then drawing the belly in. But we don't want to restrict it too much that you're not able to breathe into your lungs. So there's awareness there. So not overly heavily clenching those ab muscles. So breathing in and breathing out just now confines itself to the upper chest and lungs. And that will then help us in our postures such as a warrior, a reverse warrior, a warrior two, and any balances. That will help protect your back and spine in these postures. Keeping the length, keeping the chest forward and drawing up through the crown of the head. Just focus your energies in that thoracic upper chest spine area. You'll start to feel that support now as the muscles coordinate, which is a mechanism we use to create that infinite support around the abdomen and lower back. Okay, when you're ready, open your eyes. So if you have a chair and you're sitting in the chair, please stay as you are. If not, seated with a crossed leg in the next few moments, please. And we'll just start a couple of stretches here. So you'll have your strap handy. So we're just going to do a little bit of mobilization of the shoulders. So we're going to lift the shoulders to the ears and drop the shoulders behind us. So a little bit of movement here and releasing. So very much along the same lines as last week. So I have had a request to open the hip flexors. So I'm going to give you a couple of versions of hip openers today. Really lovely. Feel that difference in your back once we do hip openers. They really do start to feel a massive difference through your lower back once we get that hip opening happening. So we're going to just now reverse the movement. So we're going to come forward, down, and back. This one can be a little bit more of a challenge. So we're going to inhale, forward, exhale, back if you want to start to think about the breathing. That does come along with practice. So don't worry if it's not there or you forget about it. Just natural breath is fine. Please breathe. Okay. So if you're seated on a chair, you can use your hands underneath the base of the seat to hold on to. Otherwise, if you're actually sitting down in cross legs, bring one hand to the floor, draw the navel in. So again, switch on your pelvic floor muscles, Take an inhale, stretch one arm up and reach all the way over. So if you're holding onto the chair, you want to just hold lightly there, still reaching up and then bringing yourself over to the side there. If you're on the floor, reach your fingers a little bit further out and stretch over. So you're lengthening from the side, keeping your body facing forward again. Now we'll take an inhale. As we lift up, we're going to do a rotation. So this hand comes over to the knee. You still have one arm above. If you're on a chair, you might want to hold onto the back of the chair and draw your body round. Otherwise, if you're on the floor, fingers to the floor, and then you're going to rotate to look behind you. Now, please, to enhance this movement, activate your core. So use your tummy muscles to twist your body and turn your gaze behind you. It will feel quite tight, but it will start to release any compression or any build-up in that mid-spine. It's great if you're sitting at a desk all day. So look over your shoulder. Take an inhale. On the exhale, see if you can go a little further to gaze behind you. Again, keep your shoulders from your ears, draw your belly in, look a little further behind. Take another inhale, and it's going to turn to face the front once again. So relax the body. Inhale through the nose, opposite side. So we're going to reach up as we extend fingers all the way up. So again, not bringing shoulders to ear. Keep that space as we breathe. Reach up, hand under the side of the chair or on the floor, and then extend over into that stretch. So you can walk your fingers out, keep your chest facing forward and your gaze. If it's too much for your neck, you can always keep looking to the floor. Ideally, neck strengthening is looking forward. But if it's too much pressure, any injuries, look to the floor. Take an inhale, go a little further. Switch on those abs. See if you can lift up through your body. Lift up from the rib cage through to the fingers, and get that arch around the side of the body. Now take an inhale, switch on the abs, lift all the way back to center. This free arm comes over to the opposite knee, and the top arm reaches behind to the back of the chair or to the back of the floor. Drop the shoulders and look over behind you. So breathe in, draw the belly in, use your pelvic floor muscles to lift into the belly, look behind you, and drop your shoulders to gaze behind. So keep drawing that shoulder back. Drop the shoulder, gaze over the shoulder. Draw the belly in, relax your thighs. Inhale, exhale. Excuse me. Take an inhale, come back to center. Excellent, roll those shoulders out once more. So I didn't do this last week to start off with, but if you're feeling good to do this and you have a belt or a strap, why do you go? You want to come over the head. So you can actually wrap if you have a cord around, but don't grip too tightly around the knuckles, but then pull quite hard to take the strain from the shoulders into the strap, and then let your shoulders hang down. So you're almost like you're trying to hang onto that hold here. So you're like hanging down from a climbing frame, and then drop your shoulders. Brace the abs, take an inhale. We're just going to come over to the side and keep our body centered. And then we're going back to center. I want you to feel the movement of the shoulders on the back of the body. So we're just moving, keeping the armpits lifted, and just pulling a little tighter on that band and releasing. So we start to feel it echoing through the muscle here. So we've got tightness, a little bit of tightness in the arms, but it should start to take away tension from the shoulders. So back to center, take a breath in, draw the belly button in, lift the spine, crown of the head, forward, up, and if you can, behind. Now, this is a tester. You might need to go a little bit wider. Did you see I just started to shift my head forward? Now, that's an indicator that I need to go wider with my strap. I'm a little bit tense, and then maybe I can loosen and bring it closer together, keeping my head back. So I'm going to switch on, and that means a little bit of tension and tightness across the back of the shoulders, initiating that move. So I can go a little bit wider. You don't have to go all the way. You can come to as far back as you feel comfortable, and that to the front there. You don't have to go all the way behind you if that doesn't feel right. Inhale. Just going to do a couple of mobilizations, pulling on that band, pulling on that cord. So you're pulling to try and take that pressure away from the shoulders and neck here. So it doesn't feel like it initially, but the more you focus on pulling on the strap, on the band, it does start to release the shoulder and neck. So again, if you can, you can speed up if it feels good to you. If you don't, then don't need to. The after a couple, I feel a bit more looser, a little bit more relaxed into it. The first one, I always feel like, oh, okay, that's not going to happen. And last time. Now, we're going to start on the floor in all fours. So if you're on a chair, make some space. Otherwise, come and join me in all fours. Let's train to switch on that pelvic floor, those muscles accessories here to support our spine for our balance posture. We are going to start, so shoes, socks off, spreading the fingers wide, and that's really important because that way you get less pressure through the wrist. You're looking over the fingers, so try not to bring your hands too far in front. You're engaging the pelvic floor by drawing the belly slightly inwards, but keeping the flat back. Can you see slightly? I'm rising, lifting into that lower back. So I'm keeping a flat back, so I'm not doing this. It's from the tailbone into the belly, pubic bone, and lifting. So I'm supporting, I keep that there. And then I'm just going to drop my shoulders, look up, bring my elbows slightly wide apart, and then I'm going to just press through the floor with my hands, and then curl my tailbone under and bring my chin to my chest. So again, I'm reversing, light holding through the belly here, drop the shoulders, elbows slightly bent out, and then I draw the navel in and I bring and push my hands through the floor as my chin comes towards my chest, tucking the tailbone. So this is an inhale, bend shoulders, sorry, bend elbows, can't bend shoulders. That would be interesting if you did, certainly be a problem. And once more. Okay, so we're going to go straight into activity. If you need to, so advice to have the chair here so you can have a little bit of support, okay? Optional. Chair is going to be there to support, keeps your balance and gives you awareness of stability. So take a breath in. Draw your belly button, navel up. So imagine you've got a piece of string going through your body, into your belly, and lifting your belly towards the sky. Not your back, just your belly, not your back. So it's pulling it in. So it's almost like steam's pulling through, and you're getting it all built up around the navel. Now, slightly bend your elbows and pull your belly in. We're going to extend the left arm, keeping our hips level as we extend. So it's still quite rigid, and you're going to lift that leg up as high as you can without your hips tilting or tipping. Now, if you're locking on your elbow, that means you are compensating for your core. So bend the elbow and see what happens within your core. Lift your heel, lift from your butt, belly in, so there's a straight line. Now, left leg is lifted, so the right arm can come up. You can rest on your chair, hold on to your chair if you need to, or extend. The arm comes up towards our ear if we can, and we look forward, not down, look forward, or slightly higher than your mat. So again, we're bracing those abs. Now see if you can extend your heel a little further away from you. Like you're trying to straighten out the back of the leg. Listen to the kneecap and push that heel out. Really activate that leg. Activate the arm by reaching forward with the fingertips, feeling that shoulder start to draw away from the spine as we extend and lift through. If you need to, you can always bring one hand down. If you need it, or you can bring your foot down and keep the stability, with that foot down and one arm extended, still looking in on that core stability from the spine there if you need to bring the toes lightly touching down. Now, take an inhale. We're going to bring our hands back to the floor. Lift up your heel, and we're going to do a little bit of a balance here. So, when we come into this movement, you automatically drop into your back. So draw your belly in, and then lift your heel up. Take a little bit of breath here. And then extend the leg out. There's a little test for you. Now, we're going to take that foot all the way over in the opposite direction to the right side, tucking the toe under, and look towards it. So we're just releasing any pressure there, breathing in. So if you can, shift the foot a little further along. Just be aware that you're not rocking your hips. Your hips are facing downwards. You're pressing into the floor through your palms and through your foot. Inhale, lift. And we're going to go all the way round. So this again last week we did. That foot extends from the hip at that right ankle. Place that foot down either the sole of the foot or just the outside edge of the foot. As much as you can do and come as far as you're able to. We're going to add the cat and the cow. So elbows slightly bent. We inhale, look up. Exhale, round and just tucking the tailbone. Look towards the navel. So get your chin tucked under on this. It's really important to finish off that curvature If it gets too much, you can always rest your hand onto the chair. You can bring it a little bit closer and rest on here and do the same movement. So you can do a slightly adapted version if it feels too much on your wrist. You also have this version as well. So just rest your forearms in the chair. Okay? So just know that other options available, because if we do feel the wrist, we do want to strengthen them, but also we will start feeling that discomfort to distract us from what we're doing. So there's options here. The other thing also is you have a blanket or a mat to push your palms into and wrap your fingers over the top. Takes the pressure from the wrist, so you can use blanket, which I handily have there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is engage the belly. We're going to lift that foot up as much as we can, just point the toes that help, and then lift and bring it all the way behind us. We're going to do one more stabilizer, so you can feel that moving inside the hip, and then extend if you can the arm out again. So again, straight to fixing and bracing that ab, slight bend in your supporting arm here. Spread your fingers, engage the glutes, lift your belly, so belly button through the spine up towards the ceiling. Don't arch. Hold it here strong, take a couple of deep breaths. Fix, like we did in the warm-up, breathing into your rib cage, but holding the pelvic floor and those lower ab muscles. Hold. Feel that moving through the body into the legs and lower half of the body. You need to bring your hand out, or it's up to you. We're going to take it once more over to the right side with that foot, toe tucked under to look and breathe. So we're just ramping up a little bit here. So if you need to breathe, take a breather. Take an inhale, bring that foot back, tuck the knee under, push back on your heels, stretch your arms out, take a breather if you need to. I'm going to push my hips and weight back and press my forearms into the floor and my palms to release my back. So you might want to go wider with your arms to feel that release across the back here. So a little bit wider with the hands if you need to. Push your chest down. You can always start to bring your weight slightly forward to lift your hips a little higher, and that might feel nicer on releasing the upper shoulders and back. So just work with it here. And we're coming back up. Again, you can rest on your chair, other side, and then that's it for this movement. We're going to change again. We'll come to our standing position. So elbows slightly bent, gripping the floor with your fingers broad and stretched out. Draw your navel in, so lengthening out, straightening that lower back. Opposite side now. So brace the abs, keep that tension by locking in pelvic floor, and then you slowly release. Extend the leg, and then lift the heel. Extend and then lift without moving your hips. So home in, pubic bone, pelvic floor, belly button, flat back. The weight should be distributed across from the hip to left to right if you've got it correct. Slight bend in your elbow. Notice what happens within the core. Opposite arm. Now, left arm extends. You can hold onto your chair if you need to, or rest, or bring the hand back down. Deep breath in. Focus on your breathing. Upper rib cage, holding into the belly. Really expand that chest, side of the rib cage as you breathe and hold. Focus on lifting your heel a little higher. See if you can push that heel outward, further away as you extend into the muscles, and then reach that arm a little further away from you. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, you can bring the hand down if you need to. We're going to do a couple more breaths. And then we're going to lift and draw that foot over to the left side, tucking the toes under, and then gaze towards that heel. Keep a breath in. Maybe slide a little further if you can. Look towards the heel. If that's too much, look towards the floor. If that's too much for your head and neck, otherwise look towards the heel. Now take a deep breath in. You're going to lift or just drag the foot over all the way around to the opposite side. So either sole of the foot down, if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, edge of the side of the foot. Regain your posture, elbow slightly bent. We take an inhale, tilt the pelvis. Exhale, round and lift from the shoulders. Push through the floor. Tailbone. Belly button. Inhale. Exhale. Get ready to reset the body. Take a breath in, draw the belly up. Now point the toe, a little bit support, and if you can lift, otherwise drag. We're going to go all the way around and all the way back to the left side and then gaze over your shoulder to the left heel. Take an inhale, we're lifting straight up, straight back into that extended position. Again, start to lift into that lower back, draw the belly into the lower back, extend the arms out if you can for stability, micro bend your supporting arm, lift from the heel, engage the thigh muscles, breathe and hold. Bring the hand down if you need to. We're going to do one last stretch here. Bring that knee back into place. There's going to be a couple of options for you here. If you can't press down, so have stretch here. If you can't get your weight down onto your heels, and like this, with your toes tucked under, then keep, and you're more here, then keep the toes tucked under for this one. Here are the two options. All fours, toes tucked under. Right arm comes up, right arm comes through, quite close underneath, and then you're going to drop the shoulder down. So you can use your left finger to support you. And you're just going to try and move to get the shoulder on the mat. And then the head shouldn't be too compressed. You might want to adjust yourself by coming further back towards your knees. See how that feels to you. Draw your abs in, connect with your core to support you. So again, when we do twist, activate your core for stability. And it also releases a lot more tension. So if your left fingers are pushing into the mat and supporting you, stay there. Otherwise, if you are able to, lift your left arm up, draw your chest through your hands and forward to your left side. If you press the right arm down, reach the left arm up. Option as well here. Either the arm extend, fingers down, or you can bring the hand, wrap it around, and just hook it onto the top of your right thigh. And then use your shoulder to then rotate and bring the elbow towards the right. So you're lifting and rotating your shoulder back towards the right, looking over your left. So those of you who can, you can always go down to your toes, onto your heels if you have the stability to do so. So your feet here. And sweat through, and then sit back on your heels. So that's a real deep one here. Now to come up, you want to bring your left fingertips down, push through the floor and release your right arm. Come back to all fours, give a little bit of a shake, rotation, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, you can come down quite low if you've got the mobility. If you've got tight hips, that's hard to do. So we will release them and you'll see if you can do something like that later. So now the left arm comes up, reach towards the sky and follow the gaze of the fingers. And then follow the gaze of the fingers through as we thread it down and bring that shoulder down. So again, adjust it. If you're going into your head, that's not comfortable. So you need to just adjust and see where it is. So maybe you need to bring the shoulder back slightly. Or you can have a cushion or something to hold and support your head so you're not flattening into it. So give yourself that time to adjust so it's in the forearm, the upper arm and shoulder there. So when we rotate to lift, you're really going to feel a deep stretch now from the chest to the back of the shoulders, and then reach the fingers up. You have propping or reaching, or bend at the elbow and bring it over to the left side and use it to rotate, using your shoulder and elbow to rotate. Now, keep looking forward. Don't look in the direction of that shoulder. Now, try and roll that shoulder back. Deep breath in, long breath out. Switch on your core muscles and breathe. The pelvic floor. Breathe into the chest, out the long space. Last time, reach the arm up and back down, fingertips push off. Take a breather. Whew. Standing posture. Now, you can either come up using forward to your chest, or you can go to downward facing. Downward facing is keeping that square block position, touching your toes, and then lifting the sit bones high. It's not about super extending your legs. It's about keeping your heels as close to the floor, but not forcing them and locking the knees out. Can you see what happens to my lower back when I do that? It arches, it causes tension. So it drives my back forward. So I want to keep it flat, so I keep my knees slightly bent and I target my heels. So you have that option, or you can just walk to the front of your mat and stand up, or you can walk forward, come to your chest, slowly come up, or you can walk your hands towards your toes in a forward fold, weight your heels into the floor. Keep your knees really bent, because what we want to do here, feet should not be too wide apart, but they should be distant. Bend your knees, keep your pelvis slightly tucked under. Now, arms are nice and relaxed, really soft and loose, and then you're going to start to curl into your back. So you're using your spine articulation, like we did in the cat and cow. Lift your legs to slowly come up and bring your shoulders over your hips. And then push the hips forward and bring your knees under the hips. Let's try that again. Knees bent, chest lifted, chin towards chest, chin forward, keep your shoulders back, and then start to curl. As you curl, chin turns to the chest, you curl to the shoulders, bend your knees forward. So you're getting a C shape there. You're starting to feel the pelvis opening from that lower back as you start to roll forward, and then you're starting to let your arms hang. And then you can pause it, but don't grip your toes, push your heels back, keep your knees soft, and then slowly bring your chest onto your thighs. Now we're going to come all the way back up. So again, keep your knees bent. Push through your heels, but push your knees forward as you slowly round from your shoulders, from shoulders to mid-back to hips, pushing the hips forward over your heels and the knees, then jump forward over your toes, which is fine. And then as you draw the shoulders back, you bring the knees and hips back in line. Rock it out. If you're at the front, doesn't matter. If you're at the back, doesn't matter. You're going to step into your warrior one position. The wider apart, the harder it is. Before you go there, get your strap handy. So stepping to mid to wide start. First, your legs are straight, toes are facing forward, hip width apart. Toes forward, legs as wide as you can. Now, what I want you to be feeling here is as you tuck your tailbone under, so can you see this is me relaxed, starting to jump forward, but as I draw my belly button and tuck my tailbone under, this glute activates. That's important. And I'm feeling my weight pushing to my hips. That is important. Lock that in. So tilt the pelvis, glute switches on, weight down the heel, brilliant stretch and open up. Then keep that active leg and then bend this knee forward. It creates the space. Feel that difference? If your weight starts coming forward, fine. If you're holding here and you're starting to feel compression, allow your body to shift along that diagonal. Glute switches on, heel switches on. You're just shifting diagonally. You're not keeping yourself upright. It's not two separate units. You're moving as one. Reach your arms up, use your strap, breathe. Now, if you can, some of us will find that we can toe, walk a little further forward. But what we want to do is keep the integrity from your ankle point, your plumb line down through the head, body to heel. Yep, the slight diagonal plumb line here. And this weight starts to drift into the front heel, not the toes. Your knee must come. So you can just about see your toes holding support. And draw your belly in, the weight can go with it, and arms come up so they can come slightly in front if it feels more comfortable. Breathe. I want you to think about working the leg, drawing the belly. It's a strengthener. From here, we're going to inhale, and we're going to add a little bit more of a stretch. Push back the front leg, draw the belly in, feel that stretch happening through the body. So we're going to do that. We're going to move gently from here to here. Now, if you're struggling with posture, struggling with that control, hopefully you're not. If you're getting tired, a little bit of support. So you're going to lean slightly further forward to get that support. So you're going to go here, push into the heel, and then lift pelvis. Can you see you're pressing into that front? And you're increasing that stretch across the body. Or if you need to, holding onto the arms. Keep this integrity of the spine here. So it might not be that plumb line, but I'm slightly pointing outwards, but you're drawing the belly in. Feet are facing forward. Good. Once more. Now come back. Warrior one. Now up to you, you don't have to. Have to go on the chair if you want to. We're going to just go into a little bit of a balance. You do not have to. So if you've got your chair, you're going to slightly tip onto tiptoe, onto the front leg. That's where you can stay if you prefer. If you want to just practice, this is the strengthener just being here. If you want to have your chair to go to lift into, you press into the palms here and then lift as you shift your weight forward. You don't have to. If you want to do it and try this movement, hands into heart center. Again, shifting the weight forward. So I'm going to just lift up here. Actually, using the chair gives you a lot more greater strength, and you can slightly, lightly hold your hands. You lift the heel up like we did in that flying cat dog position. This knee slightly bent, and lift that heel slightly further up, draw the belly in. You can either stay here in that position, trying to be slightly at angle from your plumb line, and breathe. So I want you to really think about trying to lift your heel up. So you're keeping a straight leg, but lifting that heel up, so you're going to feel it in the back of the thigh, so it's a strengthener. So if you need to, you can push a little bit harder down to your step chair to lift higher. If you haven't got the strength there, lift. Couple of breaths. So I'm locking that leg out, which I didn't want to do, so the supporting leg needs to be kept still. Couple of breaths. If you're feeling dizzy or any tiredness, come down. Take a breath in, bend your supporting leg. Bring your toes to the floor. Take your time to walk your hands back. Push through the heel, take a breath in. Inhale, draw your navel in, lift your arms overhead back to warrior one. We're going to switch. If you can either step forward and change legs, or you can step back. Oh, legs definitely feeling it. So if you can probably see my mat has got little toe marks where I've been gripping, which you're not supposed to. Actually, it's just a little bit of an imprint there. So I know my width or my guideline. But I've moved into it, so I'm not going to go as wide. So hip width apart, toes are facing forward. Straight legs. Remember, what did we do first? Switch on that glute by pushing through the heel, switching on the glute, tucking the tailbone under. Yeah? That leg stays in that position. Then we start to bend the front knee. Draw the belly in, reach the arms up, either slightly forward or over the head. If that compresses your spine, then slightly forward is fine, and you're leaning at that slight angle. If you can then toe walk that toe slightly further forward and start to lean your weight forward. Make sure the weight is coming into the heel, not the toe. So you might want to start to work out. If you're tight, this is my type of side. Notice if you're starting to lean into it and that knee is not going in the same direction as your toe. So draw, tailbone under, draw your belly button in. Create that strength. Create that strength. So you can go a little bit further forward. We are holding, this is a maintenance pose. You know I talked about strength over joints and ligaments. This is one of the king poses in yoga for the strengthening. That transition we're doing is going to load up and unload it in a safe manner. So from here, if you can, you either are going to do your straight leg and bend, straight leg and bend. Again, switching on those core muscles, keeping that weight, tailbone under into that back leg. So again, you're getting that stretch. It's a very weird sensation, but it's going to start to release here. PNS stretching as well. So we're increasing that stretch capacity safely. So you're listening to the feedback. Don't lock this knee out. You're lifting the kneecap into the thigh. You're using your chair if you need to. It's like dropping an angle from the hip. Thumb goes slightly outwards, belly button in. So you've got a couple of movements here. Not weighing your arms too heavily into the chair. So let's do a couple more. Last one. I'm getting ready, if you can. Using your chair or not, listen to the belly, so it's a lot of energy from that core to lift the legs. Using your chair, you start to transition onto tiptoe, weight into the arms, and then you lift the heel up. This knee is slightly bent, so I want you to lift that heel as high as you can without rotating your pelvis. If you're rotating, this body will compensate. Your knee will start to lock. Lift through the heel, use the support of your chair if you need to. If not, hands to heart center, shoulders back, you're flying. So again, activate the glutes, draw the belly in, the belly button up, lifting the spine, pushing through the arms or onto the chair arms here, hold and breathe. So again, micro bending here, If you're starting to feel you're gesturing forward, have a look. You want to feel like your hips are level, and that will lift from your heel if your hips are level and you're activating that balance. So adjusting forward, the weight comes only into supporting legs. So lift the heel up, take your weight back. Play with it. Let's do a couple more breaths if we can. This is my weaker side, definitely. Again, lifting. So you need to lower the legs, then lower the legs. Take an inhale. Either using your chair, breathing, lower the foot. You can either come straight back. If it's aggravating, so Trish, just think about your piriformis. If it feels too much there, when you come down, take a breather before you go straight into a stretch. See how it feels. You can push straight back in to your warrior. Take a breather and step. That's quite intense today for us. Got enough time, a little bit more hips. So now we've created support, we're going to go back to the floor. Two options. Chair, stretch, floor stretch. This is by far the best stretch for hips. I'm going to give you two options. I think you should be able to do it. You might find two ways of getting into it, okay? So you will need your strap handy, and we're going to finish from shoulder and neck opening. So there's two ways. You can either do it from downward facing, and the knee comes forward and you just sit your bum down. So your hips are level and you've got one leg in front. You can do that option. And again, you don't want to compress the spine, so you need that angle if you can, using your fingers. Again, use your fingertip or fist if you're finding a bit of a strain in your wrist. Or you can come from all fours and then walk your knee forward, center, and then the heel comes over to the opposite side. So I'm going to show you different angles here. And then once I bring it forward, I then lower the body down. So you can use your fingertips here to push through and lift your chest up. If it feels like it's compressing your back, bring your chest slightly further forward and then bring your weight into it. My hips are level. If I can't quite get my hips down, and I'm finding that actually I can't get this space here, then maybe I'm about there and I don't feel like I'm getting very far. The other thing I can do is slightly sit on my bottom, bend this back leg, and then twist my body over the top of it. Don't clench here because you're going to get cramp. So the slight difference is, instead of going here, my knee slightly bends forward. I want to move and adjust here, and I'm just going to turn my body weight onto it or keep supporting here. It just allows me to get into that position if I can't get my hips down. Now, if you're in there, hold it, looking lovely. Chair, if you really can't do it there, sitting on the chair, one heel comes up. This is the same muscle group. So you're supporting one heel on the knee. Taking a breath in, and if you can, you lean forward into it. You have two options. Activate that foot, lean forward. So you've got two options here. Now, this is the fun part. You need your strap nearby. If you can, again, I'm going to give you two options. If you can, and you are allowing your hips to keep down, you're going to draw the opposite hand to the foot, hold the foot and look behind you. Try not to lift up. If you can't do this, loop, foot, draw down. So I'm lower to the floor. Or if you can, come up into that hand and then bring that strap over the shoulder. Oh, that's so intense. Now what happens, we'll go upwards. We need to soften and lower our hips. So you might want to come a little bit further forward and walk your hand forward for support. Squeeze your bottom to get the stretch. Ease off the strap pulling if you're feeling it in your knee. So you've got those options. I know some of you will give that a go and go, try it. Now, if you're in this position, it's a lot more challenging to get that stretch. So what we will do here is from the seated position, we come up and we then push forward. So hold on to your chest and lean forward. We're going to have to work slightly differently to get into the quad here. This is going to increase your stretch here. So I don't know how many of you will be able to get into that position. But now then for your quad, you're going to do a standing quad stretch. So if you're on the floor with that strap over your shoulder and your leg coming up to your ear, fantastic, or thereabouts. If you're in the chair and that wasn't doable, you're just going to simply do this stretch here. But I want you to focus on keeping your knees together and squeeze your knees together and then lift up. Your knees together is the crucial part in this. And keeping the hips forward as the knees together is really going to hit in on that front quad. Okay? So now your body's screaming, or your muscles are screaming, saying we need to get out of this posture. When you need to release, it's really intense. Take a moment. So slide that front leg back, touch your toes, and then sit back on your heels. If you're in a chair, you can do your side stretch in the chair and a side stretch in the opposite direction. You choose. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So do you know which leg came forward? Hopefully the right, and then we're going to do the left. I might confuse you because I use my left. My right side's so tight, and I should do it. I can't do it. The left leg forward, and I'm using my right. And we're just going to slide some downward facing. And then you bring that left leg up and through, or from all fours. Sit the hips down, so I'm walking the back foot out, bringing my toes to the floor, shoulders back, chest lifted. And if you can, so again, do this and shift yourself into the right position for you before you start at the next level. Because if you haven't got the right position, you shift too high up, you're going to miss. And this goes particularly to my friends who get any problems with hips. If I am really flexible here, but if I go too high up into the joint, it aches. It's not for the joint. It needs to be here. The psoas, the key to muscle release, is hitting the muscle. So it's below the bony part, below the flesh, below the crease, here. Yeah, at the front here. That's where you want to feel it. So if you can, if you're ready to do the other side, hoop around, draw it in. So again, no pressure on the knees. If you need to go forward because the knees pressure's there, then draw your chest down and then start to hug it in. Or you can bring the strap over your shoulder and keep looking forward. Again, bracing it out. So you've got to find a position that isn't putting pressure. You might need to come down a little bit and release the hold. My friends in the chair, opposites. Foot goes forward, rotating. So we're pressing slightly on the rotation of the foot active. You lean forward. Lean forward. And then you, my friends, are going to go from that, whichever leg it is, stand. You can go forward here to get a little bit more into it if you can. Always activating that foot and leg. And then you're going to sit back, and then you're going to do that quad stretch. You're going to use your chair for support. Keep your knees together for it, so it's really important. Bend the knees, keep your knees together, and then lift your chest forward to get that quad stretch. The knees together is really important. And that's sometimes harder when we haven't got the balance. And we start to do all this. We want to bring the knees together, and then squeeze a little bit from the bottom if it helps. You don't want to do the hips forward, squeeze your bottom. And then slowly release. Now, you can either sit in your chair, sit on the floor. Last few bits, head, neck, shoulders. That was a request to do some hip release. And give it a couple of days. And if you keep doing that consistently for probably about 6 weeks if you're tight, you're going to see the difference. It's going to take a while to see any improvements in that one. And it is a bit uncomfortable to stick with it, but it will release. It's just knowing what to switch on and what to switch off. So if you're in your chair and you've got rest, come a little bit further forward. It's not sitting cross-legged. You're going to use your strap here. So we're going to do what we did last week. We're going to stretch all the way up, holding our strap and band, really tensing it. We're going to bring it over to the side and switch it over to the other side. So we're going to do that stretch that we did the previous week. So I'm going to stand up and turn around so you can see what it is I'm doing. Head goes back. And then on this final one, I'm going to bring one arm, preferably right arm up to the center. And I'm going to release my strap. I'm just going to put it around my neck, back of my neck. And then as I reach my fingers up, I'm then going to bring my elbow The opposite arm, fingers down between my shoulder blades, and then press my head back. So if I'm super arching here, I need to really tap my tailbone under, bring my head back, and that will help with getting deeper into it. If you can't bring your elbow all the way over and you're struggling, then tuck your tailbone under, add that little movement to this ab, and then that will help you get into this area and open up your back and shoulders. Head goes back, reach your fingers down, breathe deeply across the chest. Now, here's where we're going to add on a little bit more. So this hand guides into the strap on my opposite arm, and then I bend, extend, bend, work my fingers to the strap, and then walk fingers towards each other. Chest lift, again, draw the abs in. So we're walking up the band, down the strap, breathe in, tuck the tailbone under, head goes back against the arm, breathe. Breathe. This is quite a deep breath. You're really going to think about broadening your chest, breathing those rib cage wide. Head goes back. Maybe you can bring your hands closer towards each other. Breathe in, breathe out. Good work, guys. Keep the head back, chin towards chest. So try not to just shift your head back. Chin towards chest, lengthen through. And gently unhook your fingers and release. Same thing other side. Oh, that feels good. Extend the arms out. Now, opposite side, so left arm hoping. So try not to shift your whole weight over. If you're sitting, make sure you feel your weight distributed from both sides of the body. Switch on your abs and bring the elbow over and then walk your fingers down your shoulder blades. Again, try not to close yourself off. You're not doing any of this. You want to keep this strong. So you're just using that. Shouldn't really do that too frequently, to be fair. And from here, as we go into that, reaching the fingers down, we tuck the tailbone under, draw the belly in. So we're not here, tuck the tailbone under, draw the belly in. Push the head back and try and draw the fingers a little bit further down your spine. Now from here, let's hold it there. Opposite hand goes around to reach onto that strap or band. So I'm feeling better than I did last week, and I'm going to start to walk my fingers up. So last week, I was terrible at this, and I've only done this once a week. It feels a massive release here. So try and walk the fingers up, back straight, head facing forward, chin slightly tilted. So that's actually the natural form. Your head doesn't walk around like that all day. Your chin should be slightly tilted forward. Breathe in. Try and go a little bit deeper if you can. Breathe. Broad, deep chest breath for me. Good. Deep breath. Good. A couple more. You can do this. You can get a little bit deeper into that one. You're going to slowly release. Let go of the strap. Release your arms. Roll the shoulders out a little bit. Again, if you're seated, do what you need to do. We're going to just do one more here. So stretch your arms out, reach the fingers, hips far apart. Bend your elbows and bring your elbows in front of your chest. Right arm stays under, left arm sits inside the elbow. If you can, bring your fingers onto your palm without it becoming too much of a contortion or too much tension, then do that. Otherwise, back of hand is fine. So we're going to try and keep them close. I mean, yeah, stupidly mobile. Some of you will find that your shoulders are just coming too far forward or it comes up here. So if you can't keep the back of the hand here, and your emphasis is going to keep this connection through that elbow crease. So take a breath in, draw your shoulders back. So you've got to be able to do that. So if you're finding you can't keep your hands touching here, then don't do it. Shoulders back. Breathe belly in. So again, squeeze the bottom and then lift your arms up. Thumbs are coming to the crown of the head, looking forward. And you should feel a real almighty stretch now. So shoulders down, lift the elbows up, and try and get your thumbs onto your crown of your head without arching your back. Your belly in, sit down firm. Now take a deep breath in. See if you can bring them any higher behind you. Keep your shoulders down, breathe. Now deep breaths across your back and shoulders now, breathe. Press into your crease of your arms, your elbows there, and keep the arms connected here, breathe. Now slightly drop in, Unhook. Whoa. My arms suddenly feel very heavy now, a little bit lead-like. Same thing, other side then. Reach your fingers out, take that tension away, bend at the elbows. Now the left begins to base and the right fits into the crook of the elbow. So try and get that comfortably there and then decide whether the hands go behind or interlocking around front. So again, decide whether your shoulders start to come forward or lift, or you start to compromise your posture and decide from there. So it's this bit that's crucial, that block in the elbow crease. So drop the shoulders first of all, and you should feel it then, and you'll know which position you need to be in with the hands. So drop the shoulders, breathe in, and then lift the thumbs towards the crown of the head, keeping your shoulders down. Breathe in, deep breath. So as we breathe, we want to broaden the chest, broaden the back of the shoulders, breathe and expand, get the shoulder blades apart with the breath, and then go a little bit further into the stretch. Bring the hands a little bit over the head. Deep breath in, long breath out. In through the nose, out through the nose. Deep breath in, use your yogi breathing that we practiced in the beginning. Pelvic floor switches on, breathe in, breathe out. Last time. Drop the shoulders slightly, bring the elbows down, reach the arms out. Oh, hands come either behind you onto the chair base or fingers behind you. The chair base here or fingers behind you. Chest lift up. Now you're going to actually arch the back and beautifully push the chest forward and bend your elbows if you want to, depending on how low your chair is. And you can bend your elbows away from you. Lift the chest up, breathe in. Take your gaze upwards or forward. Just keep your shoulders pinching backwards, so you've got that collarbone lift. So you can either bring the head into it, but if it's too much, just look forward, breathe in. Hold onto your chair if you're lifting, bring the chest up and try and pull against that chair. Breathe or press into your fingers if you're in a seated position. Up and breath. Lovely. Slowly release. Hands by the side, let them drop, and then we're just going to do a little mobilization. Shoulder, shoulder. Lovely. Time goes so quick. So much more. Just want to build up on what we've got there. So I'll throw a few things in. Most of it's going to be the same kind of base because it's going to be really beneficial to you. We're going to bring the head chin towards the chest. Keep your shoulders back. And then look up. Last move before we on off. Good. Last. And all I need to do, so if you have got a lovely blanket, I find a blanket is really good to have in the lower back, and you can have slight raise in the chest. You can have a few cushions here. This is really good for if you've got lower back or tight hips, or you're just slightly propped up, so your chest is slightly lifted, your head can have a cushion behind it, and your feet are slightly bent on the floor, or heels together, knees apart. Or you can just lie, or you can just sit. The choice is yours. We are now going to do our meditation. I'm going to switch the lights up so there's not a glare from me. So just adjust yourself down for comfort. Take a few moments. Now, as you get yourself comfortable, start to just ease your body down. Take a moment just to scan the whole body. So we're going to start at the toes, the right foot, your right toe, ball of the foot, the right foot, the heel, front of the right foot, the ankle, calf, shin bone, the knee, back of the knee, front of the thigh, all the way up to the back, and the buttocks, all on the right side. And then switch your attention to your left side, the left toes, ball of the foot, front of the left foot and heel, the ankle, calf, the shin bone, the left kneecap leading to the left thigh, around the back of the hip, into the glutes, and then feel the weight of your pelvis. Feel the weight of your hips, the back of your hips on the floor, moving up to the front of your hips, and feeling the front of your hips relax, opening up across the lower abs, into the lower back. Feeling them ease, all the tension draws out as you move up from the back to the mid-back, to the belly, around the front, and the ribs and the rib cage. Front of the ribs that wrap around to the back and into the shoulder blade. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Now notice your collarbone, base of your neck, back of your neck, the back of the head. Your left fingertips, left palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, top of the arm, to the shoulder, back to the collarbone, back to the neck. Right hand, right finger, right palm, forearm, elbow, upper arm, collarbone, shoulders, back of the shoulders, back of the head. Everything relaxing, resting comfortably your weight into the floor, sinking down into the earth below. To allow yourself to relax and let go. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Clear your mind. Focus on your breathing once again. Take a full, deep inhale and a full exhale. If you'd like to continue your deep breathing, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, when you're ready, take a deep breath and relax. Whatever feels right for you in this moment. The awareness now is drawn from the body and into the breath, either following the subtleness, the quietness of it, or if you're breathing a little deeper, feel how the breath wraps around the lungs and back, out, and you feel your lungs and chest expand, opening and receiving the rush of the breath over the top lip as you breathe the breath out, feeling the coolness of the breath coming in. You may be aware of sounds around you. They fade into the background as you bring your awareness back to your breath. Switching down your thoughts, just staying here for a moment more. When you're ready, we're slowly going to bring movement back to the body. Very slowly, easing back into movement. Take a long inhale. Stretch all the way out. Nice and tall. Reach through your fingers. Stretch out your belly, stretch out your middle. When you're ready, slowly coming back to a seated position.